Hello guys, welcome to yet another video. So for this one we want to look at something. So I want to show you how to do some nice animation. So the whole point is how to make the animation, not how to make this component. So by the end of the video you should be able to do this. So you click on this one appears, and you notice that when you click on it, this one disappears. So it disappears, and then when you click on this, you can click on this to close it. And also if you do this again, you can click on this to close this and make this reappear. So this is what we want to build. So because my code is a little bit buggy here, I'm just going to pause the video and come back when I'm done rearranging it. All right, so we are back. So let's go ahead and start making our code function. So the very first thing you need to do, so if you come back to our code, you realize whenever we clicked on it, it kind of opened a model, but we don't have the model button. So generally we have to hack these rules. We're just going to go here, pick your model and put it here. Now the next thing you need to do is take this custom view and drag and drop it down here. So now we have our custom view at the bottom here. So if we publish this, we should get our code appearing at the top. So I don't want to spend too much time you guys waiting for my project to publish. So I'll most likely be pausing some places where I feel like it's taking too long. So now if we click on this model, it's not going to open. Reason being, I have customary edited my code. So if you have customary edited your code and you now want to drag some components like models, tabs, the one that needs some scripts to work, you have to come back here and add them, right? So if we go to our code here, at the top where we have our model, you realize there's this model 1. So we go and add it in our data function here, and you're going to call it model 1, and by default it's going to be false, right? Don't forget to put that comma. Now if we publish this project again, we should have it working just fine. Now the other thing we need to do is, you notice whenever we clicked on this model, before we click on this model, there's a search component that is appearing at the top of my screen. So that is what I want now go ahead and pick. So if I click on this model, it's opening, and I want to pick this search component here and be able to display it at the top. Let's go back. Let's go to my page design now and go to this custom view. And I want to take this vsearch. So this is a vsearch. This is a component that we want to animate in and out. So you're just going to pick it and put it somewhere at the top in our custom view. Put it there, and that is what you will want to animate. So you can publish the project one more time. Now the next thing you need to do is remove the model button. So we want to go ahead and search for where the model is starting. So how I like doing this is I'm just going to pick this because I want to see where the model is going to be starting and ending. And I'm going to come here and say, I want to comment here and say model starts here and close that comment. Again, I want to comment it at the bottom here. I want to comment at the bottom here and say model ends here, because at the end we are going to take this whole thing and put it in our custom view. Okay, so we don't need this. Now if we publish this project again, you notice that also we have this that now has appeared here. We also still have our model, and whenever we click on this, nothing is happening. So we are going to want to animate that also. Okay, so now if we go back to our code, we should be able to see the comment that we have just added, which says model starts here, model ends here. So that's what we are looking for. So let's see. So we have this now. This telling us where the model starts. So most like the model starts somewhere here, and Q separator at the bottom for the model, and that's it. Now we have now the search component, which is at the top here. So now this is what we want to animate. Okay, so we want to go ahead and add a click event. So we're going to add a click event that is going to be opening our model for us. So we're going to come here and say click. Okay, is going to be equal to, now we want to open this model because model is set to true. By default in the data function is set to false, so we want to be opening it whenever we add we click on this. So we want to come here and say model is going to be equal to true. Okay, so once we save this, and now every time we click on it, it's going to be opening our model for us. Okay, so let's see the progress here. All right, so now we should have it opening the model. So if we click on it, it should open the model. So there's something that we did not do. You need to check the spelling. So it's model 1, not model. So always make sure that it's the same in the data function. So all right, now we should be having a functioning clickable input. All right, have we saved the project? Yes. I'm just going to pause this and reload. All right, so there's one thing you realize is that this model is not called model 1, it's called model 2. So you can change this to model 2, and you can also change this to model 1, from model 2 to model 1. It doesn't really matter as long as you maintain it even in the data function. So now if we come back here, you notice that now it can open. So if I click on it, it can open. Click, it can open. We can also write our code and it appears there. So now what we want to do is every time we click on this, we want this input here, the search component, to disappear or maybe slide out to the right. So we go ahead and now create another function. So we're going to go to this and we want to create to bind the class. We want to bind the class to one called anime. So we haven't yet created this. We're just going to go to our data function and write call it anime. Okay, so this anime is going to be blank. So by default is going to be blank. So we want to be adding some classes whenever we handle a click event. All right, so here to add more than one, you're just going to come here and put a semicolon, and now we want to make sure that anime is going to be equal to now a class of your liking, an animation of your liking. So you can go to your PHP, come here, and you want to drag and drop something like this. Just drag and drop it there. Now you notice we have some animations here, so you can just take the animation you want. So I'll take slide in right, but I don't want it to slide in right. I want it to slide out right. So every time we click on this, we're just going to change this to slide out right. Okay, so we want whenever we click on this, the model to appear, and then we slide out right. So let me change this from here to here. So we want it to slide out right and the model to appear. So let's see what we get now. So it says error model 1. All right, so there's an error because we haven't closed this with a semicolon. So the last one, you can leave it blank or you can close it. It depends on your liking. So all right, so let's see. You click on this, it's not leaving. The reason being, every time you add an animation, you have to write animated. So this animated class has to be there for it to animate. We're just going to come back here and see what we get. So click on that, it moves out to the light, but now you notice it doesn't come back in. So we now want to handle whenever we close it, or rather, let me show you what I want. So if you click on this and open this up, if I type here and I click on this, I want to close everything in general. So I want to close the model and then make the search input at the top to come back again. So let's go and look for the chip. So if I click on this, there's a chip that appears, this chip, which is closable. So I want to go and find that chip. So this is a chip. So you find it's removable here. So what I want to do is add now the condition. So we want to say anime is going to be equal to, okay, then close it. So we want to now make it come back in, animated slide. So instead of right now, we want it to slide sorry about that, wanted to slide in right. All right, then you also want to close the model, so you're just going to come here and say model1, okay, is going to be equal to false. So that's what we want to do. So once we save this, it should do two things for us: close the model and return the code that we just the search component. So that's what we want to do. So sometimes when you're writing some JavaScript, the components might not be rendered back, so you need to reload again. All right, so let's see what we get. Okay, so open this up. If we start typing and click on this, comes back and close the model. So that's what we want. Now we also want, if I click on this button here, I want to close the model and make this search appear. So for this one, you don't really need to close the model because it's already being handled. So there's this button that is at the bottom of every model. So you want to come here and add a click event because it doesn't have a click event, and you want to come here and say anime is going to be equal to, I want to say, to make it animated slide in right. So you want to handle that even when you click on that bottom button there. So that's what we want. So let's see what we get. Okay, so there we go. So we now have this. So if I type, click on this, it returns. If I type or click on this, it returns our search component. So that's how you do it. Now remember, we did some few things where we were checking where the model ends or where the model starts. So that's what we want to do now. So this model is all in a card. So you just go all the way up to where we have the card here and copy it. So you're just going to copy this code, and then you're going to come back to where we have our custom view. So we're just going to come, remove this custom view, put it somewhere there, and we just want to come here and paste everything. So I want to paste everything there. But now the one thing we are going to remove is the button that opens the model, which is this button. So we don't want that button anymore. So we just copied just the components. Now remember, you cannot add JavaScript in here. So we're going to save that. Now we no longer need this, so we're just going to remove it. Also remove this. So we have this at the top. Remember, we animated it, so, and we put it outside, so we just need to copy these two, copy this and put them here. All right, so that whenever we click on it, it's just going to appear. So let's publish this and see what we get. Now I want to explain something. You notice how I'm building my projects, everything is built on its own. So if I'm making something, it's built on its own. So basically it's just going to be a component, and then if you want to make a single page, you can export it by dragging and dropping it. All right, so now you can see my code is working just fine. Now if you want to now use this in the front end, so let me go to my front end here. If you now want to use this in your front end, which is what I have at the top left here, you realize I exported it in my code. So if I go to my home page here, I took that page which is called my search and brought it here as a component. So whenever you export it as a component, it comes with its own functionality. So you realize it's still going, it's still showing. If I type, it's still showing and comes back. So every time you export something you have done some functionalities on, it comes with its own animations. So that's generally what you're going to be doing. So that is it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and see you in the next one.